Come see us today, I-77 exit 49B.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from our brand new live burner cigar studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Life is good at Burner Cigars in Brookdale Village. Go on by there, tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. You know, every week that I mention I have a YouTube channel, go to Joe Vagnone YouTube channel, Joe Vagnone Business Broker YouTube channel. Every week I mention it, I get another subscriber.
Yay!
So go to Joe Vagnone Business Broker YouTube. We have over 645 videos there, interviews, and a bunch of information. It's an exceptional job. I wish I could take credit for it. Only thing that's mine is the name. Other than that, it's all the contributors that have helped with this radio show over the years, and my co-host for the entire month is no exception. She might even have her own section by now. We call her number one because she is number one in our hearts, and she is my first phone call when I've got a question that has to do with business. By now, if you've listened to this show at all, you know her name is Sherre DeMao. She is the owner and founder of BizGrowth, Inc. She is the Maestro COO on call, creating high-performance strategies for exponential growth in business value. Sherre, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Oh, we got the clapping down pat now.
Thank you.
We got JoJo in there doing the board, and
That's
he's trying to make
awesome.
up for his poor performance many years ago. So now we're making up for it. You the man, Joe. You the man.
He is
You the
the
man.
man.
So, Sherre, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it as always. So, refresh my and all of the listeners' memories. What is BizGrowth Inc. all about?
What BizGrowth Inc. is all about is we are about helping entrepreneurial enterprises, privately held companies, small to medium-sized businesses grow in value, worth, and preference. So what I mean by that is it's not just about the dollar signs of value. It's about having such reputation, having such credibility, having such presence that customers value you and can't imagine going anywhere else. Employees can't imagine working for anywhere else. Vendors can't imagine being aligned with anyone but you. The industry can't imagine the industry without the innovation or the integrity that the company brings to the industry. And the marketplace can't imagine, because these companies are making a difference in big and small ways in the communities in which they are operating from, even if they're global in presence.
And let me give you an example of that for those of you that want to put that into a perspective. I asked Sherre to help me years ago.
Mm-hmm.
I'm embarrassed to say how long it was. It 5-6 years ago? I don't remember.
Oh, no, it's probably been about 15 years ago.
Has it been that long ago?
Yeah.
And so, gosh, we're getting old. We're getting old. And I got a referral from a banker that had retired, and it was a client, and sent me an email and said, I'd like to talk to you, referred to you by Ed. And the conversation was probably less than 30 minutes, and I could tell this guy had already been told by somebody that Joe's the man, right? And at the end of the conversation, he said, boy, whoever told me you were the real deal was right. And you remember, you gave me that, right?
Yes, I did.
And so we've been pushing that, Julie and I, for years, and it absolutely rings true that once you define what you are and it connects with the client.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, Real Deal only works because Joe's been through it, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But that when you get the marketing and then the operation on the same page, the sales get a whole lot easier.
Oh, they sure do. Operations is so often businesses are operating and marketing totally void from each other in silos. And while a business will operate on a day-to-day basis, they don't necessarily market on a day-to-day basis, and everything should be systemized. Or they stop, or they're marketing like crazy, but they're not operationally in sync with their marketing, and then they fall flat on their face because they
Or
don't deliver what they say they're going to
the
deliver.
expectation of the client doesn't meet what the marketing is presenting.
Exactly. That's a huge, huge problem. And that's why customer service, customer relations, I call that income sustaining. All right. We all know it takes a lot less dollars and time to keep a happy customer happy, right? And that gets at the operational aspect. That gets at your corporate culture. That gets at how efficient and effective and attentive, and I can just go on and on.
Right.
That's all operations.
Right.
That's all operations.
Right.
That's what's going to keep them wanting to stay with your company.
Right. And again, these are, and I've said this 100 times every time you're on. It's something you taught me. I should say you beat it into me, right? You forced me to learn this lesson, right?
Yes.
Because most of us small business people just saw ourselves as marketing something we needed to do, not that you really should be marketing what you are absolutely exceptional at.
Yes, absolutely. You should
be exceptional and then market that.
Be exceptional and then market that. And then make sure your operation supports every aspect of that to the nth detail,
So one of the things I really like about what you do is you don't just speak these terms, you really do the research to make sure that when you say Joe's the real deal, it's because that's what you came to that conclusion, right? It wasn't just a sexy, tagline, right?
Right.
Talk a little bit about the research that you do on. We've only got about a minute and a half, but that research is really important.
Well, it's part of a non-negotiable in working strategically with clients. You can't operate on assumptions. You must operate on validated information and there's a difference between validation and proving. You can prove whatever you want. But if you're just trying to prove what you think versus what really is the case, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face, so to speak. And so really validating what makes you unlike anybody else as a business, as a business owner, even the people within. So that's the key. And you can't do it without getting information from those you're trying to attract and will serve.
And it really does help that it comes from a third party.
Yes,
right?
it does.
Because I could not see the forest through the trees.
Well, and I know we have to go on break, but I got a great story to follow up on that when we come back.
We'll do that.
Okay.
Jojo, how much time we got? 20 seconds. 30 seconds.
Oh, we got 30 seconds.
I got plenty of time. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. I'm here with Sherre DeMao, the founder, Maestro, COO on call, BizGrowth Inc. If it is Monday afternoon, your business matters. We'll be right back.
Keep it right here. Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone will return after this short break on 105.9, 100.7.
Okay. So, Joe, what I need a minute.
Okay.
Let me know a minute.
Okay.
And then I need to know 30 seconds.
Okay.
And my exit
Not in
is
your ear, right? Give you
yeah,
a
I
visual.
can't hear
I'll
it.
still do it in your ear. What
Okay.
I usually do is minutes. I'll say.
Can you hear it?
When I was giving a countdown, when I said.
I did.
minute,
Yes,
you
I
hit.
did.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
that's
I'll
why I
usually
said what I
do-
said.
I can't hear it.
Okay.
The way I usually do it is when we minutes, I'll just say 2.
Right.
1 minute, I'll say 1, 30, and 10.
Okay.
If you're still talking, I'll give you one of these.
Right.
Let's go to
Okay.
commercial. Come on.
Okay.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
my exit is normally about 15 to 20 seconds.
So do you want me to give you a 20
Yeah,
second
if you
as
give me
well?
a 20, then
I'll
that's
give you
that's kind of when I'll
say
start.
20 and I'll say let's
Right.
wrap.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds
Cool.
good. You guys have about a minute and a half.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Great. Yeah, I've got a really great example to follow up on that. It goes beyond the customers, but speaks to the operation. So,
And then you've got something you want to talk about?
yeah. Mhm.
Okay. So did you help the next week's guest write that book?
Yeah, I was the structural editor for it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's my fourth one now, and every single one's won an award. So cool.
I
It's like a
haven't.
little
I
side thing
only
that I've done.
thumbed through it. I just got it
Yeah.
about 4 days ago.
Yeah.
But it
Yeah.
seemed really interesting.
Oh, it's he's going to help a lot of people. He's going to help a lot of people because he's also the real deal. It's got a lot of grit and real world in it. Awesome. Thank you.
Is Todd on? Do we got Todd? Okay. Todd's conscientious. He's been early. He's been
That's
prepping.
awesome.
Let's
Love
go.
it. Love it.
That's not common around here.
Well, and knowing that he was getting on, I thought I'll get here early too, just
30
in case
seconds.
we have
Thank
to,
you, sir.
just in case we have to test anything. I'll be here. So.
Julie said, the real deal team.
There you go. That's exactly right, Julie. That's exactly right.
Now back to Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Vagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. You are listening to the #1 live talk business radio show in North Carolina, coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Go on by them, by there, tell them Joe sent you, and the first cigar is on me. We thank Burner Cigar for being a sponsor. We hope every Monday afternoon we will inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC. I am Joe Vagnone, and I am here with my co-host for the entire month, Sherre DeMao, the founder, president, Maestro, COO of BizGrowth, Inc., and you are listening to Local Biz Now. Sherre, thank you so much for being here.
You're
I appreciate
welcome.
it.
You're welcome.
So you were going to tell me a story that
This
went
is
with
a
what I was
great
talking about.
story. So, not only do we interview the customers, but we'll interview industry contacts. We'll interview vendors, suppliers, that type of thing. And in this case, it was for a general contractor that specialized in upfitting retail and restaurant chains, things like that. So we all know that every minute counts because they're already paying that lease.
That's
and
right.
they want to get in, they want to open their doors.
That's right.
So I'm interviewing the subcontractors who absolutely love this company, two-generation company, privately held, just top-notch quality. But their frustration was that the reason they loved them is they got paid like almost immediately. They didn't have that, wishing we would get paid mentality that so many other GCs do to them, right? And what they were frustrated by is that they would get called to go on a job site, find out that it's been sitting there for a day or two, and then they look bad because they aren't seamlessly doing one trade after the next.
Right.
So they look bad, not the GC, right? And it was a real frustration. And it was all about communication. It was all about project management communication. So we worked with them to develop what we called a QC communication protocol. And we actually changed the way they did business, where the project manager brought all of their trades together, and guess what? They could talk to each other.
Right,
so
right.
when one got done and the next one needed to come in, they didn't have to go through the project manager. They just kept everybody in the loop, and they became such a turnkey wow factor that it became a huge marketing advantage for them. because they could turn things around
Right.
on a dime.
Right.
And that's a perfect example of something that was literally an internal quality control initiative became a huge marketing advantage for them.
Right.
Huge. So that's why operations and marketing and then overall sustainable growth, you have to look at all of that together.
Right. So you cannot be the co-host of Local Biz Now unless you plan on bringing something to the
Yes.
table. So what have you brought us today?
Well, I brought, by special request by Julie,
Okay.
one of my last week's blog, Dream Wide Awake blog. So I
Okay.
do a BizGrowth 5.0 blog, and then I do a Dream Wide Awake that really...
You know Julie follows all your stuff. You
she
know that.
sure
don't you?
does. She does. We have great conversations. We really do. And the Dream Wide Awake was written for business owners and small business owners, but also for their team members too. So it's for everybody in the company,
Right.
whereas BizGrowth 5.0 is for the business owner. So this is what is procrastination costing you? And
interesting.
I see this all the time. So I'm going to just go over the 5 key points: late fees, last minute expenses, peace of mind, opportunities and profitability, credibility, and trust. So these are all the 5 core things. And the first thing I'm going to say that I hear all the time is frustration that business owners have with their team members and team members have with their business owners in the lack of communication and constantly wondering, okay, who's on first? Who's on second? Is anything happening? Did they get my email? Did they not get my email? All of that. And a lot of times it's procrastination because maybe somebody hasn't gotten to it yet and they don't want to respond until they do something. But guess what? While you're not responding, someone is distracted and not doing what they need to do because they're wondering, did you get the email? Didn't
Right.
you get the email?
Right.
What's going on? When what I try to teach all levels is just simply say, got it, and I will respond to it such and such a time, and then it's off somebody else's peace of mind plate, okay? So that's just a real simple. But I talked about it last
So my
week, too.
procrastination is bothering other people. I mean, I never thought of it that way. I mean, I thought it was me deciding when I want to do my work product.
Right.
Got
But the thing is, if you leave people assuming, then bad stuff happens. Bad stuff happens. The other thing I talked about last week was business owners not having smart strategic spending plans, right? So they find out in fourth quarter they have a huge profit and they want to not pay as many taxes, so they frivolously spend money and waste money, not strategically spending it as a result. That's procrastination.
Yeah.
You should be planning all along the year, not
Right.
waiting until, got to think about it, or even they wait till the very, very last
Right.
minute, right? So those are just some examples. It's supposedly in the U.S., I'm actually surprised it's not bigger than this. $70 billion is what procrastination costs. And worldwide, $650 billion.
Huh.
Yeah, they calculate it based on, okay, you wait till the last minute to book a flight, going to cost you more. You wait till the last minute to do this or that, it's going to cost you more, right? So it's those kind of things. But then they also they've done research to show like missed opportunities and what that costs you. And there is no price on reputation
Right.
and trust. There is no price. And probably the biggest cost is reputation and trust. For sure.
So, from a perspective of in my business, the client isn't actually sure when I'm going to complete a project.
Right.
And so I feel like I've got some leadway. And you're saying the problem, Joe, is they're still anxious.
Right. And going back to the report that you now do.
Right.
Okay. People are so quick to assume the worst. Human nature is we're quick to assume the worst. So part of the reason it was
So they get nothing. They think Julie's doing nothing.
Right. They believe you're putting it off. You're not doing anything. You're waiting till the last minute, all of this stuff. That's the unfortunate reality. So that's why communication is so powerful, because then you dispel assumptions that are being
And the
made.
minute they get that report, they think, oh, not only is she working hard, but she is giving me all this information at the same time.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
So procrastination operates on so many different levels. One of the points I love to make when I'm speaking to like an emerging leader group or a group of CEOs is I'll do a poll everywhere, and I'll ask how many people hit the snooze button this morning. Anywhere from 70 or 80% will say they've hit it. And I go, guess what? You started the day off procrastinating. and science has shown, because I'm a research geek and analytic, and I love neuroscience especially. And it has shown that, okay, think about your sleep cycle. Okay, you hit that snooze for 9 minutes, your body is restarting a sleep cycle that takes 90 minutes to complete.
Right.
So you wake up in 9 minutes, and so people have this misbelief that they are tired because they didn't hit the snooze button enough. They're tired because they hit it the first time. They hit it the first time.
And what I want people to hear is when Sherre talks about these things, it really is research that you've done.
Yeah.
It's just not, you're not just guessing, right? This is really
I always want to back up everything. So I was like, okay, I've got this like harebrained idea. I wonder if there's research on this. And of course I find it.
Right.
I totally find it. And I'm like, love it. Or I'll do it myself. I'll create my own research.
So I'm curious, what is a good client profile for you? If somebody's listening or wants to refer somebody to you, what does a good client profile look like for you?
They are a couple of things. Okay. They could be a solopreneur who has built a lot of intellectual opportunity within their company, but they don't know how to turn it into something of value. Or they haven't built something they can hand off to somebody else or somebody's going to want to buy. Then we take it to a much bigger level, okay? Then we take it to a small to mid-market company where they might have 20 employees, 50 employees, 100 employees, but they don't have the succession infrastructure to build a strong leadership. They need help with their corporate culture. They need help from a profitability analysis standpoint. They're starting to skew the wrong way, profitability-wise. All these things that are impacting the value of the company and its ability to scale. And when I say scale, I'm not talking, let's go crazy with scaling.
Right.
Let's be smart with scaling, right? So
you're not about growth for the sake of growth.
No, not about growth for the sake of growth. We've seen too many big mistakes as a result of that. Companies that grow, I talked about it. What was it at the last one about profitability first, not growth? Because growth first is what has imploded too many companies over these decades. Too many companies, right?
Yeah.
So profitability first, and then growth is sustainable. That's really critical. And so that's what we're looking for. Companies that feel like they can't get to the next level. Companies that feel like they haven't done a good job of building value for something that they would like to sell. The owner is thinking they want to sell, and they think they have more value than they really do. And you see that all the time.
Yeah,
they have these big numbers in their head, and you're like, sorry about that. That's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do see that a lot. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to again talk some more about this with a guy who wrote a book, 80-20 Business, Big Results from Small Changes.
Yeah, I love that.
I sent you a copy of this book, right?
Yes.
So I think you and I are going to enjoy talking with him.
We are very much going to enjoy it. I love the focus.
We'll be right back where your business matters.
We'll return to Local Biz Now with
Jojo, can I talk to Nick? Todd, I mean?
Absolutely.
No.
Say what?
Okay.
Is he coming? Hey, Todd, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Hey, Todd.
I can hear you. I can't see him. I'm not allowed to see him?
Oh, let you see me. Come on.
There you are.
There we are.
Todd, I was getting ready to blame JoJo for that. You understand that?
I'm used to it at this point.
Hey, Todd, great to see you.
Hey, great to see you. Love what you're saying.
Todd, thank you for doing this, buddy. We appreciate it. How do I pronounce your last name?
Nuckols, just like your hand.
Nuckols. Okay,
Great.
got it. So, Todd, I did not read all of your book,
Sure.
but I got to a good part of it. And I thought we would just kind of go over some of that stuff and talk about it. And I did want to spend just a short period of time introducing people to you so they know exactly who you are and where you came from, that sort of stuff.
Appreciate that. Thank you.
We will have a 15-minute break. After 15 minutes, we'll have a break. Then we'll come back after 5 minutes, and there'll be another 15 minutes.
Okay.
After that first 15 minutes, if you want to take the conversation a different direction, let me know, and we'll take it in a different direction for you.
Okay. We'll go by them.
And as soon as we come back, I got to do this little thing, and then I'll introduce you.
Perfect.
And you're in Florida, am I correct?
I am Northeast Florida, Amelia Island, right around Jacksonville.
Okay. Yeah, I love the whole focus of your book, Todd. Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're preaching to the choir here.
Absolutely.
So Julie's got your whole link to procrastination on there for you. She's also got your website on there. Sherre. And Todd, we're going to put your website on Facebook. This is also live on Facebook, YouTube, wherever Joe wants to throw it out there. I think there's like 4 or 5 different places.
Yes.
Good.
Yes, 1 minute.
Great.
Thank you, Joe. JoJo getting smart because nothing bad's happened yet. You notice that?
I
He's
have
getting kind of
noticed that.
cocky is what's happening here.
No.
Pocket, I'm chill.
Yeah, he's chill.
Joe
He's
is the
keeping you in
board
line.
operator as well. I make fun of him often.
I got you.
Todd, just so you know, nobody likes him. He's got no friends.
Fantastic.
So we get ready. We're going to fire it up, right?
We got
Okay.
it ready for you. You guys need water?
I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
And deja vu all over again for United Airlines. Another of its Boeing jets lost a landing gear wheel upon takeoff today in Los Angeles. Now, the jet landed safely in Denver. No one was injured. A similar thing happened in San Francisco in March. Tom Busby, Bloomberg Radio.
Call now to speak with Joe Vagnone at 844-STUDIO-4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah, you are listening to the #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of fine premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Life is good at Burner Cigar. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at News Talk WSIC, 105.9 FM, 100.7 FM, 1400 AM. I am Joe Vagnone. This is where your business matters. I'm here with my co-host, Sherre DeMao. She is the founder, Maestro, COO of BizGrowth, Inc. Sherre, thank you so much for being
You're
here.
welcome.
And we've got an exceptional guest for you the second half of the show. But before we do that, fire it up, JoJo.
Josh Johnson here, and whether I'm responding to an emergency as a Charlotte firefighter or unwinding after a shift, one thing's for sure: a good cigar can ignite your evenings with warmth and relaxation. Stop by Burner Cigar today, and we will help you discover the perfect blend to light up your night.
And so those of you that are listening on the radio, I'm holding up a big puff of smoke, and it says, "This cigar is on Joe." It's a promotion we're running at Burner Cigar. Go on by there, hold up a sign. They say a bunch of different things, and put it on your social media, and your next cigar is on me. Go on by Burner Cigar, brand new place in Denver. Julie gave me the address, and I forgot it. I got to get that address, Julie. They also are in Brookdale Village, same shopping center as Dick's Sporting Goods. Go on by there, tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on me. Thank you, JoJo. Appreciate that. So now let me introduce you to our next guest. His name is Todd Nuckols. Todd wrote a book called 80-20 Business, Big Results from Small Changes. Todd, my friend, thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Talking business anytime we can.
Thank you. So where did we meet? We have not met, actually. How did we get connected?
We connected in the world of LinkedIn. Is how we
Okay.
connect.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
I reached out to you and you reached back and here we are.
yeah, so for years, literally 11 years, I've been interviewing local small business people, and we kind of changed the format. And I told Julie, anybody that wrote a business book, I want to talk to them. And so they send me these links, and when I got yours, it just intrigued me, and I wanted to make sure we got you on. So thank you. We're actually talking to you right outside Jacksonville, Florida, correct?
Absolutely. Amelia Island.
So you didn't just wake up one day and decide, I want to write a book on business. So tell me a little bit about your background.
Absolutely. I came out of graduate school, West Virginia University, and joined a consulting firm, which I worked for about 10 years to cut my teeth, and then launched my business, which is 80-20 Business Coaching. And then through all of that work is where I wrote my book. And it's based on my actual in-the-field work with small business owners throughout North America. And so it's practical advice and things that I've seen work, and it's a blueprint for small business.
And so one of the things I liked about your book, I like about my co-host, Sherre DeMao, I could tell that there was research and real data. It's just not you coming up with with an idea or an opinion. This is some real factual stuff that's very helpful. And I'd love to kind of dig into some of this stuff. And you were gracious enough to send me an ebook, so I printed off some of these. For those of you that are watching on the Facebook right now, I'm holding this up, which is a print of your book. They can purchase it now, correct?
They can. It's on Amazon as well, and Audible.
Right.
Well.
Okay. And so it's called 80-20 Business, the Big Results from Small Change. And the title sums it up.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah.
Because the very first paragraph, you talk about that there's probably 100 problems in a business, but it really is boiled down to maybe 3 or 4 or 5. And if you fix those, everything comes into line. Walk me through that, because honestly, Sherre, that's something you would say, right? I mean, it really is about, here's 4 or 5 simplistic things, let's fix them, and they're going to be big changes.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, 80-20, the Pareto principle, 80% of your results come from 20% of your actions, good or bad, on there. And actually, as you'll see in my book, I dig in deeper and go look at the 80-20 within the 20%, which means about 5% of your actions gives you 40 to 50% of your results. And so in my work with small business owners, the thing that I know best is that they need to move stuff off their plate so they can focus on the items that matter. And so what I do, and that's why I call my program 80-20 Business Coaching, is really about helping them focus on the items that matter. And no business owner, small business owner in particular, is taught how to do that. They just let the business grow up around their ears, and they take on more and more and more. And one day they cry for help, and that's where I come in.
And so let's go through that, because you try and break this up into these parts, right? So let's do that. The first one that comes up on your book is become an 80-20 leader. And you did something, and again, I know, Julie, that, Sherre, I know that Julie put you and Todd together on this, because you guys are just like this, right? So you ask me as a reader, what does a good leader look like? And you asked me to make some notes on that, right? And so I put down trusted, transparent, good listener, and wanting to help others, right?
Absolutely.
I kind of put that down there. And then you say, I bet it was really hard to get to 5. And I was thinking, darn it, he's right. Those last 2 were kind of tricky for me, you know? And then you said, hey, Joe, give me what you think are some bad leaders that you've had. Again, you're making me think about how I compare to both of these. And then, I put down quick to give advice, quick to judge, short on time, not trusting, and very self-serving. And so when I did that, just that 2 quick worksheets, you quickly got me, right? Like, I got it. I got where I'm not a leader, and I got what I'm looking for. And that really is at the beginning of your book. That's the first thing you're saying is we have to be better leaders. And that's where you start. Did I read that correctly?
100%. And because I only focus on small business owners, many times I'm teaching them that from the beginning. That's why I start there.
And it's interesting too, Todd, that a lot of business owners don't realize they are a leader. Would you not agree with that? And so what I came to think about when I read that as well is what makes a great leader is we have a corporate culture assessment, and there's an assessment where the team members basically are saying what kind of leaders they have. And one of them is the leader is our leaders are engaged and involved on a day-to-day basis. Another one is our leaders are visible and accessible within the organization. Third is they only show up at meetings. And the fourth is we have no leaders, only managers, right? Well, what's interesting is what comes up a lot is the leaders that are engaged, involved on a day-to-day basis. And when you get through the rest of the culture assessment, they're micromanaging. They're not letting people do their work that they got hired to. And so when I was looking at your, cost of goods, the COG of get out of your own way, please. Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Because you call it a bonus leadership tip.
Yeah.
And you say, if you're the major COG, C-O-G, for those that's cost of goods for your company, then you're probably the major clog.
I love that.
In your business. Talk about that because it really hit home for a lot of us.
Well, when you deal with a small business owner, obviously, they either bought into a business or they started a business. The business continues to grow and now it becomes their baby. It's theirs.
Yes.
And they have a very, very difficult time letting go of things. Now, it may be difficult because they hired poorly. It may be difficult because they trained poorly, but it's difficult. And so that's getting to that next level, because when I work with a business, they've usually stalled out somewhere, typically around $500,000 to begin with, and again at $1 million, and that sort of goes up like that. But it's because they don't get out of the way, and so that's where I assist them the most, teaching them how to do that. We got to get good people on board. We got to get them trained. Then we must get out of their way.
Let them do their job. Yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So let's do that, because you stepped right where I wanted to go. Right. First, you want me to be a better leader and to think of myself as a leader, because Sherre's right. We don't. We didn't get in business to lead people, right? We got in business for other personal. It's not because we want to be in charge, right?
Exactly.
So, but the next thing that you talk about is hire better, and you get into details about this. And I really like this. You talk about legendary CEO Jack Welch. You can easily get rid of the bottom 10% of your workforce without having an issue.
Yep.
I'm surprised that you say that, because you deal with so many small business people. Is that still the case for a small business? Because obviously he's dealing with really large organization.
Sure. And it doesn't apply apples to apples, of course, because if you're dealing with 10 people, we're talking about one person. So it's not as big of a deal. But the point is, we typically aren't as efficient as we can be. And a lot of times that's because we have so many weak workers around us. And again, when I say they're weak, it might not even be the worker's fault. It might be the owner of the business's fault. They're not training them and they're not leading them, as we've discussed. So effective and efficient is what I'm all about with small business. Anything you can do to take touches out, you need to do.
So we've only got about 30 seconds. Let's take a break, and we come back. Let's dig in. I'm telling you, we could do 2 hours with your book. It really is just a great book. Let's take a break, and that's right. And we'll come back. We're talking to the author of 80/20 Business, Big Results from Small Change, Todd Nuckols. It is Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll be right back.
We'll return to more of Local Biz Now.
So, Todd, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. So I got a ton of stuff I want to talk about, but I think let's skip past the workers. Why are you smiling at me? You just happy because you haven't messed up yet.
You did good too.
He's doing good. He's doing good. It's a mutual. It's a Joe mutual admiration. I've never seen this before.
That's right. That's right. So I've got 3 things that I want to talk about.
Okay.
And I'm going to try and get to them in the next 15 minutes if we can, right? So, I want to talk about your marketing sales funnel, right? I really want to talk a little bit about listening better. And then it really is fun to hear you talk about networking skills, not only because most small business people don't like it, right? But you have these specific things that you talk about that they should do, right? So you approach it from, I know you've had a bunch of conversations with your small business people, and I can tell you wrote it in the book, like when there's people in a circle, touch their elbow so that you can step in. Like I could tell you really, it's almost if you were there on their shoulder saying, now this is what I want you to do. You know? So I don't know if we're going to have time to talk about all 3 of those, but let's try and touch on those just a little bit. And again, what we're doing is letting people, we're walking them through the book so that they can see you really are helping them in a lot of important areas.
Yeah.
And on the networking thing, if you could just prompt me on a couple of the things you think are best.
Okay.
And I'll talk about them.
Yeah. Well, what I did was I printed off some of the sections I like. We're not going to have time to go through all of them right now, so I'll kind of skip around some of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This was a good read for you, wasn't it? I could tell. Yeah.
30 seconds. Doesn't need anything.
I'm good, buddy.
I'm good. Thank you, Joe.
All right.
And you know I like this kind of stuff. So so your book hits home with us, buddy. So
Good. Absolutely. I put in a lot of road time to write that book. So good.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, exactly.
Julie wrote, Joe has no problem with me doing my work. Well, I don't, because it's 9 years of training her, right?
Call now to speak with Joe
her
Vagnone
training
at
you.
844 Studio 4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. #1 live talk business show in North Carolina, and we are coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio. I'm speaking with the author and a exceptional business coach. The book is 80/20 Business, Big Results from Small Change, Todd Nuckols. Todd, my friend, thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate it, buddy.
Glad to be here.
So let's keep moving, because I don't have enough time to talk to you. I'm definitely got to get you back. Believe me, I'm only halfway into the book. One of the things I wanted to talk about is something that I know all small business talk to you about, which is sales and marketing. And you call it a sales and marketing funnel, and you give detailed things that need to be done. And for me, when I was reading the book, I made some notes here, and it seems as though you ran into the thing that I find all the time. Most small business people, they really don't want to do what's required and necessary to do this. It's kind of grunt work, right? I mean, it's the same thing over and over again that starts to work. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and most small business owners, you mentioned it earlier, they didn't get into small business necessarily because they wanted to lead. Well, I guarantee you they didn't get into small business because they wanted to make a sales call.
Right.
So that's a whole nother world of things. So what I've done over the years is developed systems to make it easier to make a sales call, because the #1 reason that they need to make a sales call is because there's something on the other side. And so if they have a reason to make a sales call, they will make a sales call. If they can't figure out that reason, then they'll sit in their office all day. And so I've created programs, one I call a Scorpion program, where they send out something of perceived high value, and now it's a reason to call and respond. It could be a box full of brochures if they're a printer. It could be a box full of trinkets if there's something else. But again, there's systems in place to help people help make it easier. It's almost like trying to hide the medicine into the pudding, so
Right.
they actually eat it.
And one of the things you talk about is a benefits statement, a statement that I've heard it termed in other ways, but you really are trying to come up with something that helps them so that they have this elevator pitch or this a beginning statement to get started with, right?
Absolutely.
I'm curious, when you wrote this, were you talking about the owner or the salesperson? Are they the same thing when you're writing this?
Well, yes, they are, because for most of the small business owners I work with, the owner is the chief salesperson.
Yeah.
They haven't grown enough. Now the challenge is sometimes they want to have a surrogate salesperson because they don't want to do anything.
Right.
And that's not the way you do it. You get out there, you create a sales and marketing plan, you have it, and then you have someone duplicate that plan. That's the best way to do it. So I was primarily talking about the owner, the selling owner, because that's who I do the most.
Okay.
Well, and that's going to set them up for success for somebody that comes in and is a business development, because they know what it takes. They're actually going to appreciate that person more too, wouldn't you say?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Well, and he says that at the bottom here. He said, don't skip this exercise. Make sure you come up with this benefit statement. It's very important. And you say, don't even go sell until you have a benefit statement that you're comfortable with.
It's a waste of your time. It's a waste of your marketing dollars. And so you really need to do that. I've evolved it a little bit. You need to have a market dominating position. You need to have a compelling offer. So, all of those things get into there.
And then you say, let's create a better mousetrap, and you want to help them do that. And talk a little bit about that and how valuable information is sort of that trap. Did I understand that correctly?
Absolutely. Really, when you come down to valuable information, you're really talking about how do they solve a problem for their client. That's really what it's all about. At the end of the day, they're having these conversations. It's really not a sales call. It's almost like a consultative relationship. And they're going to the doctor. They're asking them questions or finding out things, and then they're giving them a solution to their problem. That's really what a selling owner or any salesperson should be doing.
And so you write this at the bottom of this chapter, which I know Sherre will just want to hug you if she didn't get to this part yet. And you say, being the lowest price product is vital for your survival. And then you bring these scenarios and you say, you can buy a watch for less than $20. Why do people buy watches for over $10,000? You can buy a used car for $5,000. Why do people spend $100,000 on a car? You can feed your hunger for $10 a day. Why do people often spend $100 a day for a meal? And you kind of hit it home, And I would rather be the restaurant selling a $100 steak than a $10 hamburger.
You want to be Starbucks. You want to be Starbucks, not Maxwell House. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so I love that. Talk a little bit about, I'm curious, when you present that to a client, what do you get? Because my experience is they tell you why they can't raise their prices and why it's hard.
They're afraid to raise their prices. It's crazy. Yes.
100%. That's really one of the toughest things, because usually early on, I push for them to raise their prices, because if they raise their prices, a lot of business sins go away, and that's why they're in trouble in many cases. So that's a pushback. But I'll tell you what, it becomes a mental challenge more than anything else. And once you get them through there, that's why I like it when the owner is not the one that's quoting price and doing things like that. If the worker quotes the price, they're going to typically get a higher price than if the owner quotes the price.
Interesting. And I totally
That's a
agree.
true statement. Yeah. Absolutely. And Todd, you even say it right here. You say, what you must discover is the reason why your client is buying. It's not because of price.
No, it's not. Yeah.
And if it is, you're in trouble.
Yes, exactly.
they're going to leave you for the next person that's a penny lower.
Okay, so one of the things that attracted me to you is you talk about lists, and lists are important. And you're the first book I've ever read that says, go buy the list. Don't try and create your own. Go, and that, number one, I liked hearing that, right? Because it's a lot easier. But I've never heard anybody say it. Talk about it. I know you've got some actual resources that you can help people out that are listening for that too.
Absolutely. And buying the list goes back to many things that I talk about, which is, pay for shortcuts, pay for things that will speed up the process to get you where you want to be. Don't just, don't take the slow boat to get where you want to be. But there are many list brokers that you can go through. And more importantly, this goes back to our conversation earlier. You got to know who your target is. You got to know who your perfect customer avatar is. So when you go to buy a list, you're only paying dollars for that customer avatar. And that's an important part as well.
So, and then you go into great detail on what that list should look like. And it's important that you discern what the profile is before you just go out and buy one. And you're able to help them do that. Now's a good time. If somebody wanted to reach you, how could they do that, buddy?
Sure. They can just do it at todd@toddnuckols.com. And you'll see that at the bottom of your screen, I believe. But todd@toddnuckols.com, or just go to my website, toddnuckols.com. There's a link to schedule a quick call with me. Either way will get you to me, and we'll have a quick conversation.
So we don't have a lot of time. I really, I told you at the break, I enjoyed reading your section, Sharpen Your Networking Skills.
Yes.
So it's almost as if you were handing people that didn't want to be in the networking room guidance. Right. You know what reminds me of? That commercial where the guy is trying to help the older people not be like their parents. It reminded me of you trying to say, now go ahead and touch his elbow and see if you can step into that circle. You know what I mean? It's just a great section on networking. It really is.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about that, because I don't think there's a better way for a small business person to succeed than to plug themselves into the community. This book would not work if you did not have this chapter in there that talks about networking
and how effective it can be.
Yes, absolutely. And talk a little bit about that and how you chose to put this information in, because it really is. I'm going to call it hand-holding. I don't know how else to describe it, right?
Sure.
But talk about how you perfected this.
Yeah. I mean, it's been through years of training more than anything else. But networking, to your point, is one of the strongest ways for a small business owner to connect in society. I mean, you walk in the door, you have instant equity as a small business owner, and you have a chance to plug into your society and do some really cool things. And so, that's one element of a good sales strategy, and people just ignore that. Now, as I say in the book, is it networking or is it not working? Because sometimes they stand around the same three people every week, and that's not the way you do it either. So
that's right.
You have to network with a purpose.
So one of the things you talk about, energize yourself. So how do I energize myself when I don't want to be there to begin with? How do I do that?
Yeah. Well, it goes back to honing your skills. Are you confident in your skills? Do you know what you're going to say? Do you know how you're going to say it? Do you know what types of business owners in the networking event you're going to talk to? And sometimes you just have to fake it till you make it. I mean, that's just the reality of it. Your business, your family.
Act like you're happy to be there.
Exactly.
But speaking to passion, somebody, even the most introverted business owner, if you tell them, focus on what you're passionate about and what you're bringing, because you went into business for a reason, never forget that. That comes across so genuinely. And then the nerves go away. The nerves go away. Yeah,
100%.
So there's a couple of things I want to talk about. We've only got a couple of minutes to do it in. Actually, we've only got a minute. So talk a little bit about nonverbal signals, because that chapter was pretty cool. I really like that you handed me information not to do, right?
Exactly. I think it's around 60% or more of the message gets across in a nonverbal fashion, which means our tone and our inflection and our body language and where our eyes looking. All those things are read more than the words that come out of our mouth. And so it's important that we remember that when we're having these conversations. We're there, we're present, our entire body is there.
Todd, I'm sorry. We have to go, buddy. I'm definitely going to get Julie to get you back, my friend. Thank you so much. We're listening to the author of 80/20 Business, Todd Nuckols. Todd, thank you so much, buddy.
Excellent.
You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. We'll see you next week.
Serving you better than ever before.
Go talk to Todd. Got it, Todd?
Yep.
Hey, I sent you an email. I wanted you to talk to Justin.